that is where we go wrong sometimes, because you realize that most people use that profit to do other things that are not benefiting the business. So you realize that they now get the profit and spend it elsewhere, wherever they cannot maybe regenerate that money back to help this business. So that is why that idea of plowing back profit is very necessary and very key.
Yeah, I heard somebody who said, I think it was a story of Elon Musk, where he got he borrowed the money from his father. Elon Musk is originally from South Africa, and he comes from a very privileged sort of family, but he moved to state to develop and now he's a mogul. So I was checking out his story where the first money he got, he invested a lot of it back into the business. Yeah, and I think it's an interesting skill that maybe most entrepreneurs need to learn and know. So how can you invest a lot? For example, now for a person who solely depends on that business for a living,
that is the
to pay debts, to pay rent, to pay fees, and sustain your firm. So I can only imagine now the needs and the little profit you're getting, spending it instead of reinvesting it back.
You know, that is one of the key aspects that can either make a business grow or just die. So actually, that is what we call the well-being of a business. And that is why always don't over-rely on the business actually before even it peaks. And most mistakes most people do is just to get into the business without even prior recording, or just taking into account of taking the business as one and the same. The business and the individual running that business should be two separate entities. That is why you need now to have, let's give a simple narration. You have a business, maybe a shop, and then you realize that that shop is, when a visitor comes, you get some milk and bread. You don't even account for that.
You mean it should be on record?
It should be.
You came, took milk.
You should pay for it.
You should pay for it. It's your own business.
Yes, it is your own business. But that is what most people, that is a mistake that is commonly made. You cannot run a business and you are like, you and that business are one and the same. Like you don't separate your personal finances with the business finances. So that is where now, when it comes to the topic of how you separate that business from you and from expenses. So it should be, the money that you have taken from the business should be undertaken as drawings or an expense, such that you'll know definitely how to calculate profit. So and sometimes,
So I think this is an interesting one, because when you look at people that own businesses, now that you mentioned shops, they'll be like, chukua maziwa, bomba, and that's it.
And they don't account
chukua
for
maitatu, majani. Kumbe all these things should be on record.
They should. Absolutely, they should. That is why a business should have a program on what comes in and what goes out. You should be having what we call stock management systems. Sometimes you have maybe employed someone and you don't even take account of how they run that business. Sometimes they can make losses within. You get? So that is why the health of a business should be so. That is why as a person you go for a checkup. So when you go for a checkup, medical checkup, the business also should be having a checkup. Its checkup on the health, on how it is performing. Such that you can curb the flaws and always make advancements on the same.
And you're able to note this one went amiss, this one we can adjust, this one we can cope with, then we can sustain.
Because you might even be having employees who are doing mischievous actions within the business.
I can imagine, for example, stories like Naivas and the rest. And Naivas ilifungwa, I think ilipotea. It's there. I think it's the other one. Nakumat. I think they merged and then Nakumat disappeared. So for example, now you mentioned stories of stock keeping. I'm pretty sure they have a huge department of stock keeping, which is a profession as well. Stock keeper by profession.
Actually, I'm privileged to have been working with a retail outlet. I've worked with the 2 retail outlets, and I can tell you that stock management is very key. Other than other things, stock management, because there is always wasteful spending. In terms of businesses differ. It depends on which category. Because like the one we are saying, the small retail shops, whereby the owner of a business can go get anything the way you want. Spend the money to pay school fees without taking account of that money, because that is a business money. But now you see, you are taking that money, pay school fees, taking that money, buy stuff for the house or so the household.
Yeah.
Take that money, maybe pay a debt that did not come as a result of buying and selling stock.
Yeah.
You see, so all that are hindrances to the growth of a business.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, for example, for a business that's based right in Nairobi, if you compare some of the hindrances, now that you mentioned the word hindrances, or maybe let's say just obstacles, small obstacles, if you were to compare a business that's within the interiors of Vihiga County and now a business that's starting here in Nairobi, if you look at the ecosystem and the climate of operation, definitely the factors are totally different, right?
You're right.
Yeah, and also the client, the target
is
market is also totally different as
yes.
compared to here.
Yeah,
So maybe if you were to pinpoint it and maybe also help somebody who's watching in the interiors, what are some of the things you'd outline to them?
Actually, one of the things that should create a base for conducive kind of improvement of a business is, first of all, you must understand where you're coming from and where you want to get to.
Right.
So when you relate the two, they will give you a clear vision on how you can go about it.
Yeah.
So market research, before you started that business, you could have done that market research and get to know who are my targeted customers.
Yeah.
So, and these targeted customers, for instance, a customer in Nairobi, a person who has a business in Nairobi, always, I can put it always, because you see, we are in a digital world. So you will capitalize more on the digital space. Yeah, do your advertising and branding on social media, advertising. You can even sell on social media. But somebody who is at the interior, most people don't have access to the internet and the social media platforms.
Right.
So that is why those two are totally different. So whenever you specialize on that or capitalize on that, that is one key aspect. Number two, giving back to the society. As a business, maybe you are established in, let's talk about a remote area.
Yeah.
You need to come and give back to the society, whereby you can invest on projects that will help the community. And with that, you help reach out to a bigger client base.
Right.
Because to most people will now be inclined to you as per the rest, because you must be unique.
Right.
Yeah, in any business you want to do, you must be unique.
Right.
Because maybe you are dealing with the similar products.
Right.
So the uniqueness comes from giving back to the society, as I've said.
Yeah.
Getting to understand the environment that you're operating.
Yes.
Another aspect is you look at financial. Most people get to forget about this thing. Getting financial information or financial specialist.
Yeah.
To enable you understand the concept of money, the inflow and outflow. That is cash flow.
And that's where people like you now come in.
Yeah, that is. So most of the people who are running businesses, sometimes they are scared of the financial specialists or financial advisors.
Yeah, because also the culture of money and how we relate to money, now that you've made me remember that, there's a guest here who tried to explain to me that you can attract money just by naturally being you. And there's people who have a scarcity mentality to a point money runs away from them.
You're right.
So now, our traditional cultural system, you're handed money secretly, everything happens secretly. Even when it comes to now the financial literacy part, now that you brought it and how to manage it, multiply it, keep it, and I think the biggest goal is to multiply money, not to keep it.
You're right.
To multiply it.
You're right.
Because of the fear of somebody will know how much I have.
Uncertainty, yes.
So you'd rather hide it and spend it, and boom, now you're in a debt.
You're done, yes.
Yeah.
So first of all, let me mention this.
Yes.
Any entrepreneur, we have those key features of an entrepreneur.
Right.
You should be a risk taker, not a risk averse person. If you are a risk averse, so it means that you're actually not an entrepreneur. Because as an entrepreneur, you should not be reserved.
Afraid.
Yes, you should not be afraid to take an initiative.
To try out an initiative, yes.
Yes. So you should be goal-oriented, somebody who is focused, you see. So these things, most people, whenever they have started that business, they forget totally about it. That is why most people don't even know that even an hygiene condition, just an hygienic condition, is very key in a business.
Right.
Yes, because some people, you go to a business and you realize that it is dirty. Yes. Another key factor, people who are working within that business have completely no idea about the products that they are selling.
How could that be possible, though?
That is very possible, I can tell you. That is training.
Right.
That is why training is very key
Right.
in an organization or in any business. Because you realize, for example, you've gone to a supermarket, for example, you want to purchase maybe a product.
Yeah.
But you don't have the prior knowledge about that product.
Or where the shelf is located.
Yes.
It's located rather than the shelf. Yeah.
You realize that this product, you don't know how actually it is being used, but you want it.
Right.
Because maybe you had somebody talk about it. Now you want an information on how this product functions or works.
Yeah.
And you realize that you have found an attendant and he has no clue on the product. Are you going to buy that project?
I've actually met an accountant,
Yes.
an attendant rather,
Yes.
who didn't know what I was looking for was.
Yes.
Hadi una jam, you're like, sasa si unafanya hapa kazi.
Yes.
Why
and
are
he
you not
tells
aware?
you, he tells you, let me go call for someone. He calls for someone who as
Who
well
also
doesn't
again
know.
calls another one. And
You
you're
see,
like,
you see, and then
happy.
you end up losing.
Right.
That is where most businesses get it wrong.
Right.
Yes, as an entrepreneur, you should train your employees on the product they are selling. They have that product knowledge.
Right.
Like, for example, I was actually in a supermarket purchasing some stuff, and then a guy came, because I've worked in a retail outlet,
Right.
and then a guy came who wanted to get a TV set, but he wanted a digital, a smart TV.
Yeah.
So, and the person who was operating the instruments didn't even realize, the difference between a digital and a smart TV. So I had to chip in to help. So that is why you see there is a
The
need.
embarrassment.
Yes, there is need for training.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he works there?
Yeah, they work there and they have no knowledge about their products.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah, actually that is how bad sometimes it can get to.
Yeah. But you finally got it. Yeah.
Yeah, I got what I want.
Yeah, interesting. But then also when you look at now, you mentioned the word technology. At even the previous guest was just talking about an app that he invented. Right now there's businesses that are thriving online with massive online presence. I remember recently there was an Instagram page of a very famous clothing line that got suspended. I saw some of the models that were selling their outfits. Everybody was like crying because they had massive presence and massive feedback from the people who are buying and shopping via. I think Instagram has an icon called InstaShop, where you can just shop for everything you want in the world, depending on your location and what you want.
Yeah, right.
So do you feel like maybe this is the future as well for businesses now that, but I had a contradiction thought in my mind. I was like, so how can a mama mboga find themselves on InstaShop? Which is a big thing with the influencers and Gen Zs. And also millennials, yes, which they're using to find products or access to anything they want. How can a mama mboga sell sukuma wiki or omena on InstaShop? I was really trying to figure the math, and the math was not mathing.
Actually, technology is taking everything. It is actually, that is why you see even the President of the Republic of Kenya is actually trying to invest on technology.
Yeah.
That is why you see even the CS is working so hard to have the hubs within even
tech
counties.
hubs,
Yes, such that the youths can now use that space to generate money. And that is why we are even advocating for the youths to take up that opportunity, other than working or just going to school, getting degrees and getting first class, and at the end of the day you have no knowledge about information or technology. Right. So actually we're talking about mama mboga. It is very easy even to sell a product, but with the use of the internet. Yeah, with the platforms even on social media, because all you need is just to post your product, and a client likes the product, and then you pack it, and then it reaches the destination.
But so, bro, for mama mboga now, I think they'll need a whole training on how to download Instagram on App Store or Play Store.
Yes, actually now
create an account.
That. Yes,
because it's a whole another class and a lesson on how to navigate through icons for them.
You're right. That is information. Information is always key. And in most occasions, you realize that there is no end to information.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so with the time when you accumulate that information or ideas, then you become knowledgeable. You know now where to tap, and the resources just chip in.
Right. Yeah, but also for every business, there's always competition. And I believe for anyone who has successfully done business, they look at their competitors who are maybe a little bit higher. Yeah.
Yes.
Because you're looking at also what are some of the steps they took to, you know, reach there.
Yes.
Now that you said it's not a copy and paste, but you
Yes.
could maybe slowly follow in their footsteps.
You
Yes,
can
exactly.
benchmark actually.
Yeah.
Actually, I was looking at how you know, mostly I was reading a text somewhere, and I realized that Kenya as a country is a product promotion kind of a led country. Like most people love free samples, free things, giveaways, you know.
Freebies.
So and that is now a niche. Whenever you want to take your business to another level, find a way of enticing this customer such that you can retain the customer, and you must be very gradual in adapting change, because change happens each and every minute.
Yes,
so
exactly.
how quick are you to adapt or to embrace that change?
Yeah.
Yeah, do the giveaways I've talked about, the customer service, whatever I said about trainings.
Yeah. Even incentives.
Yes,
a lot of
give
people forget
incentives,
that.
yes.
Yeah.
And as well, you can do what we call free delivery. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
When you look at a company like Jumia and the rest, I think they're big. I think they're international, yeah.
Yes.
I think they're international. Also, a lot of people would prefer to like even go and shop physically. But you know, the tech savvy ones, like me and the rest, you'll enjoy the joy of just sitting at the comfort of your own house and ding dong, your product is at your doorstep.
You're right. For instance, whatever you've mentioned about the comfort of your home, actually most people, you get that they don't have that time. Right. Most people are busy, they are here, they are looking for better way of doing their own things, their own stuff, and they are caught up with the time, because you cannot have all the time. So it is actually ideal for them to do that. But as well, you see, this face-to-face kind of going to a shop and purchasing, it has got a lot to deal with. Yeah. It has got that personal appeal. You can have a choice.
All right.
Yes, you have several products to choose from.
Yes.
Yeah, and you can even make some corrections on what you want, or
or even get a best alternative, and also the convincing factor that you know, as compared to like you bought it online via a virtual platform, and then you brought the item and you're like, hey, ECTV nilikuwa nataka.
Yes, and the issue
there's usually that a lot. See, hii nilikuwa nataka, and then you're told it's the only one we had. So you're like, damn it, I wish I knew. I wouldn't have purchased this initially. Interesting. Also now, when it comes to event stories, is a marketing, online marketing now. For most businesses that maybe are looking forward to have a future in the digital space, I think there's a lot to be done now that you're talking about startups. And I love the fact that, you know, you're coming in as well as a mentor and just trying to inspire young people that, yes, in as much as, you know, it's a competitive world, but yes, you can start something and it can succeed, but don't copy and press the idea, be creative. And I don't know, maybe if you've noticed, maybe you can personally tell me some of your experiences of original businesses that started from scratch, that was just an idea and it was manifested into, and it's thriving now into fruition. Any that you've come across or you noticed so far that
actually,
you can talk
about? I was reading an article on how Ramco started. Yeah, it started from as a wholesale. But now it is, as you can say, it is a big company. It is a manufacturing company. So, like, I can attest that a business starts with an idea. When I was in campus, actually, in most times, if you have never had a problem, you'll never learn to solve one. Yes.
So, in short, you're trying to tell me problems are good.
Actually,
are good events happening to you. If you don't have a problem, then you're not living.
You'll never learn how to solve one.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yes. So when I was in campus, actually, if you have gone through campus and you have never gone hungry, yes. So that sleeping hungry made me think. Right. And while I was in campus, I was in a position to have to run a cyber shop. Right. It was really paying so well. But I started as an employee. I started learning on how to operate a cyber and ABCD. Yeah. So I got some money, and with the help of the money from help. Yes. I started as well what we call a glossary.
And so you expanded?
Yes, I expanded.
Is that scaling or expanding?
That is, you're scaling.
Scaling, right.
Yes.
Okay.
So you see, And out of that, that is how I came to learn how you can, the logistics of running a business.
Yeah.
And that is how I started loving now a business, how to run a business and the challenges that comes around with a business.
Right.
And one of the major challenges that I incurred as a person, you know, personal experience is so many other
really
than
relevant.
the one that we read on magazines.
Exactly.
The worst part is how you manage your staff or manpower.
Right, or labor force.
A manpower or a person or an employee can fail a business terribly. Yes, they can bring it down in a second.
Just
if you don't
one
have
or many?
Yes, if you don't have proper infrastructure. That is why you realize that if you are not there, for instance, when I used to go to class, I'm not there to run that business. Because I was going to class, I was doing a lot of projects, I had a cyber, I have this. So I cannot.
So you'd shut it down and go to class, or you leave it to a friend?
No, you leave someone.
A friend?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they are friends within. So you realize that employees are individuals you need to be very close to.
Yeah.
And let them understand, even the money that you're making, it does not only go to profits.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes an employee you can make 50,000 in a day, but he doesn't know that there is stock. He's supposed to be paid. You're paying electricity, you're paying water bills and everything, the transportation of the products from point A to B, you see?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, they will take their own share out of the money you have made.
Because
if
they are
you have made
suffering.
50, yes.
Yeah.
If you have made 50, they can take 10.
Yeah.
And maybe that is the whole profit.
Right.
And you realize the rest is just for expenses. So that is another big challenge.
So how can businesses cater for them? For example, if you're a business owner.
Putting proper infrastructure to handle how stock comes in, how stock goes out, the movement of stock. The CCTVs to manage the vicinity.
Security part, surveillance.
Yes, surveillances. To have a proper financial management system.
Right.
To know what has come in, to be accounted for.
In short, record keeping.
Yes.
Very key and
yes,
major.
Most businesses actually don't do record keeping.
Yeah.
They don't have trained accountants. They just employ anyone, because employing an accountant as well is a cost. So they want to evade that cost.
And you can't run away from that.
Yes. So if you run away from it, definitely that business is going nowhere.
Yeah.
Yes.
It
It's
actually
a matter
speaks,
of time.
exactly, it speaks volumes on how even bosses or business owners treat their juniors. You know, you could be out there, you have a big head, big car and everything, but down here somebody that will sabotage you don't like.
You are right. You might realize that the owner of a business does not have a car, but the one who is working in that business has a car.
And you wonder.
Yes, and most people actually, they lame you at the expense of building their own businesses. So they earn from you as they build theirs, which is actually a very bad aspect, because when you work with when you go to a CPA class, actually the first rule is integrity. That is why whenever it is on rare occasions you find an accountant who is qualified commit such an incident.
Hao wenye wanakimbianga na pesa wanakuanga wameingia CPA.
Yes, ni watu tu wametrainiwa.
They don't. Unasikia alipotea na 10 million ya kampuni.
Because they will take away your license.
Yeah.
Yes, if they find you with that case as a CPA practitioner, you will be disqualified. That is what most things, you know, you have to put some kind of,
It speaks volumes about, you know, employer-employee relationship, work relationship.
Yeah.
Either way, it's a job. In as much as, you know, people forget having a business is a job.
Yes.
It's a job, it's a full-time job, and now that you have people working on it,
yes,
it's still, they have to come either 9 to 5, depending on the shift now.
You're right.
Yeah,
and
so
actually
the environment must be conducive.
Yes. And that is why, as a boss, you should also take care of those, the welfare of those employees, because you realize I saw actually most companies, big companies, and I learned this from the US-based companies in Kenya. They take care of most of their employees. You realize that they don't have even stress, financial stress. Some even institutions need to have trainings on financial matters, such that even the employees can understand how they can budget for their money, such that, because how does it affect an organization? If a person doesn't know how to manage his finances, definitely they are going to a crisis. They can't even be in a position to be at work at the right time, or they will be under stress. So how can you work with that stress? So to cap that, most companies, you realize that the employees are picked from point A, terminal point, to the workplace, and they are brought back. You see?
That
You see
happens a
most
lot overseas, yeah.
Yes, most companies, they drop their employees. That is number one. Number two, they make sure that the school fees for their children is taken care of.
Right.
Number three, sometimes you find it is not, actually is one of the, the key factors, but people don't even look at it. You've realized that they have a uniform.
Right.
That uniform, sometimes you realize the money most people get doesn't take care of their needs. So even having a good cloth or ABCD to wear to work is a problem. So sometimes they make good uniforms for them, such that they can all be the same.
Right.
All look alike, such that you cannot, you know, we human beings are used to comparing one another.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks smart, I'm not. So that uniform brings about uniformity. Yes.
Yeah, equalizes. A good example, I think, now that you brought it up, is the airport. If you want to go to and use Jumbo Jet or use KQ, like you can easily tell this is a flight attendant, this is a customer care executive.
Yeah, right.
And they even have their tags and their uniforms. They can easily distinguish and go and seek service. Now, you guys should be getting those hacks very fast.
Yeah, right.
Now let's get back now to our country. If you were to take a look at the climate of startups and how they are operating right now, especially in our country right now, maybe what are some of the things that you've noticed that if they'll need to be addressed now? You're a person who's a mentor, a financial consultant, and many other hats that you wear. What are some of the missing links that need to be addressed, especially for startups, for them to thrive? But I've also remembered there's one of the guests I interviewed here a couple of months ago, Aliniambia, if you want to start a business, please do not borrow money from anyone. First of all, not even a bank account. Don't even dream of a bank, forget. Ensure that you maybe do crowdsourcing, or maybe you have somebody give you some amount to start, and then when you are stabilized, you can get them the money back. Because first of all, the bank won't even believe you. You're not credible for an overdraft, or a draft rather, or a loan to start the money. And she said rather, it's a bad idea to start a business with borrowed money from a bank account. In as much as, or even if you're sure you're going to give that money back, it's a bad idea.
Actually, business, to start with, starting a business, it is like it is an uncertain world. You're not certain about what will come out of it. Yeah. But anyway, because you are a risk taker, you have to take that risk. Yeah. So,
would you advise for them to go for a loan?
No,
now
of
that
course.
It's risk
no, of course, it's not a good idea, because that is why I've said that it is not something you are sure about. Yeah. And a loan, it is a sure thing that you, in a few days, you're supposed to return some money to the lender. So that is why there is no hurry to start a business. A business is not something that you should start when you are in hurry. You should start it when you are in sober mood, or sober kind of yes. So you should. That is why most financial advisors, even the ones who are my financial coaches, because we learn from
each other.
Yes. So you realize that, as you have said, it is not a good idea. Start small. There is no need of hiring. Where you are hiring to?
So you want to make profits, pay school fees, pay
so
medical bills.
Other than profits, they say that a business is profit-oriented. But other than profits, there are people who do that business as a hobby, as a passion. So they are not profit-driven.
Yeah. So even if they make a loss or profit, it doesn't matter.
No, okay. A loss matters, as well as a profit matters. So you cannot say literally that it doesn't matter, but they are giving it their all. They will make sure that it survives. So, and that making sure, it means that watajituma. So that is why it is always advisable to do what you love. Don't see that somebody maybe has excelled in selling eggs or rearing hens, and that is what you want to rush to. Yeah. Yes, get information, and most of the key factors, get information on what you want to start, because we learn from the rest. If I want to rear maybe hens, what do I need? Where do I start? That is very key. So, and as you have mentioned, the environment, the business environment. Yeah. Actually, if it was my wish. If I was consulted, I could definitely advise the government that mostly taxes are hindering most businesses.
For startups?
Yes. A startup, and you realize that even registering even a company, doing ABCD, you realize it is cumbersome. In most occasions, that licensing should even come later, or it should be at an affordable cost for someone who is starting. And later on, when a business has peaked, now they can even have another license to cover the standard of a business. Because I cannot take a license of a business which goes for 50,000 and I don't even have that money.
Yeah.
Number two, you realize that a business has not even established, but immediately you start that business, you start paying taxes. It should be given even a grace period of even 6 months or even 1 year. Then it is established and then it starts paying remedy,
taxes.
you see. So it becomes an advantage to not only the government, because the government depends on this business, for instance, to get, and it doesn't tax even the business alone, because the business is paying for employees, the staff, the business is sourcing for the product to sell ABCD. So the business pays a lot of taxes, you see. So if the government could allow that business to first thrive, then thereafter it starts now to pay that, it could be a good idea. Another idea is about the funds. Most youths don't have the prior knowledge on how to get those funds that are set aside for the SMEs. And
they're given by government.
Yes,
and
they are
sometimes
given.
people miss out.
But as well, there are always cartels everywhere. Yes, you realize that money comes, but now the long processes and as well the fishy kind of things,
it never reaches the intended person.
So yes, so there should be trustees or the youth organizations. They should be given a space there, a role to play, because they are the trustees of the youth, such that now they can give the information to their members, and that information should be actually a fact. Because I can tell you now, from here, go somewhere, find something, and you go there, there is no that thing I told you. You see? So it should be factual. The youth should realize that you cannot access maybe the funds at an individual capacity. You need to form groups.
For the purposes of integrity or honesty.
Yes, accountability. And to know that thing actually will thrive.
Will manifest.
Yes. So that is why it is important for the youths to source for information. Actually, nowadays even information is on the internet. So the youth should not be so anxious to run to TikTok, Facebook to just have chats. Either go to the internet and solicit information that is very key to them, that can impact their lives.
Yes. I've seen Equity Bank and KCB, that's Kenya Commercial Bank, and even I think Stanchart as well. They offer some of these, they're called cash something for startups. But like you've said, you realize the people who even applied on that list never even heard from the people that were giving the money. But the bank will give a record even annually. They'll say, last year we gave out 10 billion. And you're like, is it 10 billion ilikuwa kwa hii county yangu na hakuna mtu hata kwa hii county ana testimony alipata hizo pesa. But then they do also their stories. You'll see Mama Mboga, you know, I got 10K from Equity to start up, you know, my samosa business, and it's picking. So you wonder, like, what happens in between, you know?
You know, that is why we tell the youth mostly that let them be, number one, let them have a network. That network sometimes is more even trustable than something somebody else speaks to you and you don't have the connection with that person. I can hear something here and then maybe tell my people here, and then, you know, they connect and do ABCD. But in other occasions, as you have said, most things are cooked information. Yes, you might realize that those numbers sometimes don't add up. The people, the real people who are supposed to benefit from that kit didn't actually get what they're saying.
But it's true the bank issued the money.
I can't really ascertain because I've not been, I've not experienced one of that.
But you've seen even the flyers and the brochures on socials.
Yes, actually they post, but you know the authenticity of that information. When you want to know that the information is authentic, there are several steps to follow for you to actually authenticate that this is true and this is false. So I'm not saying that every research, you know, even, you know, for track and the rest to do the research, and we just believe it and thus criticize it. So, you know, but so you believe with regard to if you have done a research on the same.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now let's still stay on our country, Kenya. Do you believe we are more of an export or an import country, or we are still between export and import? I spoke to a guest here, I think it is last week or the other week, who said he makes furniture, and he told me that Kenya imports a lot of furniture, especially office furniture. And I was asking why. And he said in terms of some of the material that are needed, in fact, glass specifically, and some type of wood. And I was also sharing with him my experience being at Funeral Home, where I lost my dad anyways. I went to the casket sector, or the coffin sector, and we were trying to look at, some of the affordable caskets. And they were telling us, this one is from South Africa, this one is from Japan. There was one that was costing 5 million, a casket, a coffin, in short, yeah. So most of them are not made in Kenya, the ones that are at Funeral Home. And I related to what he was saying. And the lady who was selling the caskets at Lithuania, most of these are actually imported to us right here through South Africa. So from that, you can literally tell, or easily tell, that Kenya is more like an import country. And as much as we have a lot of capacity, raw materials, and the resources to manufacture and export, what is your sentiments on that?
Actually, that is, I can say that it is preempting. Why am I saying that? You cannot take one product and then you generalize.
Right.
That is only maybe with the timber. And actually, I heard the president talk about always trying to curb the importation of wood, and we have the resources that are, and that is why we have even the tree planting initiative.
Right.
Such that we have enough of what we need.
Right.
So I can ascertain, yes, some wood and products, most products maybe are not manufactured in Kenya. You might realize even the furniture or whatever that is used there is not, it's not from Kenya.
Some of the materials.
Yes, most of the materials we don't make, but we are actually.
But we have them here.
Yeah, most of the, okay.
Si hata oil tuko nayo hapa. Lakini tunatoa wapi oil?
You're right.
Ndio hiyo G2G deal. Unaona sasa?
You're right.
Mbona tuko nazo na tuna import? What is the problem?
Even the mentality itself, the mentality of the market. You find that when you're telling someone, even you might even realize that that product someone is telling you is from South Africa is not even from South Africa.
Yeah.
It's just a mode of trying to sell a product.
Whew.
Because if he tells you this is made in Kenya, most Kenyans sometimes don't.
Yeah.
So if they tell you that this is from this year,
so we can't buy Kenya, use Kenya. It means we don't trust our own. Mbona to say trust our Kenyan products.
That is why we need to build that trust.
Buy Kenya, use Kenya. Or build Kenya, buy Kenya. That's really a slogan. Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
So we cannot say that we really entirely depend on imported products. Yeah. No. Sometimes it is a marketing strategy.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. I was also shocked when they said Vitiza State House zote ziko imported. I don't know if you heard that. There's a story, it came out, wakasema kila kitu iko State House, from the furniture hadi the president anatumia. Hakuna yenye imeundwa Kenya. Zote zimetoka majuu. And they cost over 10 million.
But now the question is one, that is a business niche. Sometimes even if you are the one who is manufacturing in Kenya, if you don't have a connection of selling to State House, actually it couldn't make sense. But the one who is maybe selling,
it won't even be easy for your product to be purchased in the State House. You'll have to fight like 10 cartels.
I believe someone who is making that purchase and sell to State House is a Kenyan, and is making a profit, which is actually another good thing. But but we should we should not advocate for that. Right. It is good that they could buy from us.
Right.
Yeah, and as a country we have come from far.
Yes.
From independence all through. So we are trying to be ourselves.
Right.
We are working day in, day out. And that is why we are even encouraging the youth to be creative, to be innovative, because it is whoever who is now at 70 will no longer be, the cycle of life.
Yes.
So, but if you can change the mindset of the young, then we believe that in the years to come, we are going to have that brand we are saying that buy Kenya, build Kenya.
Build Kenya.
Yes.
On that note, do you also feel like we should increase our EPZs? Is there a need to maybe increase them?
Actually, an EPZ is one of the best idea as per my reasoning, because you realize that most EPZs are used for to source for employment. Actually, they're giving a lot of people employment,
right?
And they help to the products that are being processed for maybe export zones for exportation comes from the local farmers. So it is something that is a good idea.
Right.
Yes.
But you also you realize we also export now. Sisi no pioneer, so a brain drain. We export a lot of labor instead of using that labor. I don't know if you've seen. I think opposition was loud on it at some point. Walikuwa wamesema, mbona president anaenda China, ameenda Germany kutafutia watu kwa kazi, badala create kazi hapa hivi. So you realize most of our nurses, teachers, doctors, and the rest wanaenda majuu badala wa create your environment, your business hapa hivi. So yes, we are exporting labor at some point, I believe.
In my opinion, actually it's not that good idea. But as well, it creates exposure. The problem arises whereby you realize, because it creates interaction. If a nurse now trained in Kenya is going to, you see, it will be in a they will be in a position to earn more skills. Then we believe by all means they have to come to back.
Definitely they will have.
Yes, that is what we believe. But that is why you see that we Africans, in every aspect, we are trying to fight. Mostly the youth, we are trying to fight that we become creative enough. We create our own jobs. We are not in. We get out of that cocoon, like we go to school to get employed. Such that we can think outside the box. Nowadays, you realize that even skills and the talents are paying even more than somebody who is employed. So that is why we are trying to cap that. We are trying to cap that gap of the illiteracy of job seeking. Yes. You know, you can be an elite, but you are illiterate.
That's a nightmare.
Yeah, actually it is possible, because have you ever seen people who die or kill themselves because they have first class honors and they have searched for employment and with no yield or outcome, then they end up killing themselves. That is the illiteracy of life or of skills. Because that person have got maybe the capacity of getting that first class, but he cannot maneuver, think outside that degree or that diploma or that education amepata.
Right.
Yes. So out of that will be job creators other than job seekers.
Right.
Yes. You realize that even the nurses or people who are moving outside the country, most people are trying to even create hospitals, their personal hospitals.
Yes.
Yes. So out of that, that is a job creation. But how are we working hard to ensure that we're even making ourselves a brand, other than focusing outside the country? Actually, when I was young, I wanted as well to go to the US.
Right.
It was a dream, but it died.
Why
it
did it
died
die?
And buried.
Why did you die?
Everything
you
I
had
need
a funeral.
Everything I need is here in Kenya.
Oh wow, that's
everything
a good
I need. I have it.
That's a good awakening.
Yes.
A great
and
awakening.
It is a wake-up call to everyone who thinks that resources are outside there. Resources are here. Right. Even those who are going outside there, they're just going to use what is exported from Kenya. Yes.
Literally, the grass is greener where you water it.
Yes.
Right. So you might think, I'll go to the US and I'll start making $10,000 per week.
Let them. On you. You know, most countries, there is no country that doesn't paint itself on the outside world.
Right.
Yes, if you go outside there, people know Kenya like a good country, like everything is amazing. But you realize we have our own weaknesses. As well, you realize that whoever who goes to the States will find another weakness. Maybe he goes there, he lacks a job now, they will be doing the manual works, the jobs that they run away from here in Kenya. And life there is very expensive.
Guard.
Yes, life there is very expensive. They can't even. That is why you realize somebody in the US doesn't even want you to connect with him, because he knows definitely there is no way he's going to help you.
Yes.
Yes. So sometimes that is another uncertainty.
Right.
Yes. So don't be anxious about what you don't know.
To go outside the country because you think the grass is greener there.
Yeah, no.
The American dream. But personally, I have friends in farm who've maybe managed to hack the American dream,
Yes.
because you know, but it takes time. See a team to alienda huko last year. Ni mtu amekuwa huko for like 15 to 20 years.
You're right.
And then they've established themselves. It literally takes time.
You're right. Maybe they got the challenges, and I told you a challenge will make you reason or
Yeah,
think outside the box.
absolutely, yeah.
Yes, and now they will try to work it out, and not everybody who goes there works it out.
Yeah.
I happen to know someone who went there and the life went miserable up to date.
Hadi wakarudi.
Yes. So you see, so sometimes things doesn't work out the way you want them. Yes.
I've actually remembered there's a program on CNN. I think it used to be hosted by, I think she's called Eleni Jokos. The program is called Marketplace Africa. She goes to each and every African business hub, especially like Nairobi now. I believe Nairobi is a business epicenter or a business hub. South Africa, she travels to each and every country to share stories of successful entrepreneurs. And even the promo itself on CNN, I think it talks about innovation and creating opportunities. It's a very warm promo. I love it on CNN. It usually airs midnight, sana sana.
Yeah.
So in that promo, there's a story she highlighted of a dude in South Africa who started, I think she started creating outfits from mattresses. You know the way when a mattress is old, it's done and it's finally dumped. So he was collecting those pieces and making them into colorful gowns, and those gowns are imported abroad. And there's even celebrities in the Hollywood community that have managed to buy that, and he's giving people a run for their money. So I was just looking at that creativity. If we had it right here in Nairobi, you know, somebody who's using plastics to maybe mold it into oil or something, that is innovation, literally. Do you feel like maybe we also lack that skill of innovation, the motivation to even go in that direction? Now people like you who are trying to come up and being mentors, showing people direction, you're also not being highly accepted or being welcome in the space, because people are still also struggling with their mindsets, ideas, etc.
You're right. You know, let me use this analogy. You know, when God wanted Jesus to be born, he literally didn't choose just anyhow. He chose specifically Mary. Alikuwa na sababu. So sometimes with the youths, most youths that you go to do mentorship, and when they look at you, they see you as a successful person, but as well, you have not reached that capacity of helping each and every person.
Right.
That is one of the challenges that youths are facing. That when they see you in terms of monetary. They don't see you in terms of ideas.
Or giving skill.
You're right.
Literally.
So whatever you're saying, most youths, if they could be in that kind of right mindset, that whatever you are doing is just creating maybe a platform for them.
Right. Because
you can be having a good product, but if you don't place it in the right place, you remember the analogy of the guy who collected a stone, took it to the father, and then the father told him, go sell, how much will they give that? You see?
Yeah.
So putting anything in the right place,
right,
putting this information in the right mindset, whatever you're talking about here, and I'm not the only person who's talking about that. Right. Most people are doing that. If this information, the one you have spoken about, the kind of a skill, innovation, if it reaches the right person, and they get to realize that when God created them purposely, he put a very specific, a very important aspect of a skill in them,
right,
such that they can be innovative and creative within that skill that is in them. That is how they can become reliable citizens who can take this country and Africa beyond.
Far,
yes. So that is why I'm saying that, yes, skills are there within the youth, but now, when you find that youth, he needs things quick.
Right.
And things don't just happen.
Yeah, they say trust the process. But
yes, you must trust
the process trust me.
You're right.
I don't want to trust it.
You cannot start today, as I told you that Ramco started as a wholesale. Right. You cannot start a shop today and next week you have a supermarket, unless miracles happen, and they don't just happen. But if you trust the process, you will be fine.
Right. I think this conversation is endless and riveting, and we can talk and talk for hours. So now let me get back to you professionally. So for anyone who's watching right now and they want to seek your services, maybe briefly, what are some of the services you offer in just maybe a minute, and then we can exit? And also, how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, actually, first of all, before I give them the link on how to reach to me, maybe I can give them a word.
Right, please.
Maybe the youths who are watching, and everybody or anybody who has a business. Don't be like somebody who, if you want to go to town, you must be specifically going to town. Usifike karibu na any junction and now you want to divert. That business that you started, it had a goal, it had a mission. So make sure that it goes long way with that mission. So everything that you need to back it up with the resources, with the information, with the right people, maybe doing the benchmarkings, and you'll see success coming your way. So, and whatever product you're selling, anything, put it in the right place. Do the branding as much as you can, and try always to be unique.
Right. Now that you mentioned branding, I think we have like a minute and then we go.
Yes.
I had, it was one of the talk shops, Carol Tuko, she's still media personality, I met her anyways. She talks about how your product appears, the personality of your product is its selling point. She also talked about how you dress and how you speak is your selling point.
You're right.
Your hair, your legs, I'm like, wow, so we need to revamp everything. What do you mean? And it makes sense. Like a lot of young people do not actually pay attention to that.
Yes.
They'll be like, you know, I'll just put on an outfit and I'll go. But at the end of the day, you're telling a story even as you're going.
You're right.
People are observing and taking notes in as much as they're not speaking,
yes.
but it's intra-personal communication.
You're right.
Do you believe it's okay?
I believe absolutely in that 100%. Like, we're not only talking about products.
Yeah.
We are talking about services and every aspect of, you know, there are people who sell their face.
Yes. Influencers, some
yes.
models.
Yes, the models. And
yeah.
So your face is money.
Yeah.
So how you present yourself,
right.
it is the branding.
Yeah. You're telling a story in short.
Yes.
To a person.
You're right.
All right, so tell them where they can get you and your services shortly. Yeah.
Actually, I do financial consultancy for businesses. I write business structures. So if you want to reach out to me, we do even mentorship. We talk to students and organizations. So to reach out to me, you can reach me on Facebook at Riro, or you can reach me on my number, personal number, which is 0723 542 383. You can write 0723 542 383. Yeah.
Do you have a LinkedIn account? I do. Mine is at Brand Sakwa. Just Brand Sakwa. I think there's no any other.
Actually, mine was hacked, and then
you should make another one.
I'm working on it. Even my YouTube channel, I'm working on it.
Oh, so they should be waiting for content very soon. Yes. Welcome to my YouTube channel.
Yes.
So, Sam, thank you so much, Mathew Riro, Riro Mathew, for sharing your insights with us. This has been a riveting conversation.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, and all the best.
Thank you very much.
So, Sam, and also we say all the best to you as well for watching, and thank you. We put a close to today's conversation, but continue to interact with us on socials at Y254 channel, at Brian Sakwa 1, that's mine personally. On behalf of Stephanie Ayeta at Stephanie Ayeta and everybody else behind the scenes, we say thank you so much for watching, and we'll definitely see you next time right here on #Y in the morning. See you.